Where do I even begin? Okay, off the bat, I need to make something very clear. This is the worst horror movie I have ever seen in my entire life.
I already knew going into this that this movie was gonna be terrible. I already knew that it was the worst rated horror movie on IMDb, and I saw Cosmonaut's video. By the way, his video is excellent. After seeing all this, I felt very compelled to watch it, just to see how bad it actually is. Usually in this part of the video, I would give you a spoiler warning. I'm still gonna do that because if for some reason you still want to see this movie and you want to avoid any and all spoilers, I would recommend skipping to this annotation so you can receive my spoiler-free thoughts and my final grade on this film. Right off the bat, this movie manages to screw up the impossible. The opening credits, they go by ridiculously fast, and it's almost like the director, Michael Mifune, was so embarrassed by it that he didn't want the audience to notice the plethora of grammatical and punctuational errors. At the beginning of each line, there is always a capital letter, no matter what. And my favorite part is actually here. Then his mean man killed himself. I have no words. You just can't make this stuff up. The worst thing about this movie is that it is almost inaudible. This has to be the worst audio quality I have seen in a movie in my life. While I was watching this movie for the purposes of this review, I was just sitting there absolutely dumbfounded. There probably weren't any microphones on the set of this movie. Because of this, it is very hard to understand what is even happening in this movie. And also, the extras and the actors are talking at the same volume, making this movie a cacophony of unpleasant sounds. The audio quality in this movie is just so terrible. There are no words to do it justice. You just have to listen to it for yourself to really understand. So this movie looks absolutely terrible, but maybe I'm being a little unfair by criticizing this aspect. I mean, this movie was made in '92, and at that time, not everybody had high-definition cameras in their pocket. But maybe they could have used this to their advantage, given it that 90s home video found footage vibe, but they didn't. I genuinely feel terrible for everybody who worked on this movie. They have this on their resume, the worst horror movie on IMDb. That probably killed their career. Sometimes Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb gets things incredibly wrong, but everybody who I've talked to who has seen this movie agrees that this is one of the worst movies ever made. I was kind of hoping that this movie was going to be like The Room. So bad it's good, but there are so many scenes in this movie with atrocious audio, and they're just dialogue scenes. And those scenes aren't only headache-inducing, but they're boring as hell. None of these characters are in the least bit interesting. I don't even remember any of their names, other than Breakfast and DJ.
Double cut master, slice them up, dice them up. OT, my man, so nice, J nice.
So what parent names their kid Breakfast? I am potentially interested if he has any siblings. They would obviously be named Lunch and Dinner. At least The Room is super quotable, though the thing with this movie is that you would be hard-pressed to find a single line in this movie that is worth really quoting. That is because 80% of all the dialogue in this movie is completely inaudible. The acting in this movie is also pretty terrible. The scene where our characters run out of gas is just hilarious. It is one of the only scenes in this movie where you can understand what is happening. One good thing about this movie, or I guess it's half a good thing about this movie, is that it could really be used if you wanted to get together with a group of friends and roast a terrible movie. Axum isn't a terrible choice for that, though be prepared, some scenes drag because of the terrible audio. If you really wanted to roast a bad movie, just watch The Room. To really put this film into perspective, I'm going to compare it to a bunch of other terrible horror movies. First, you have most horror sequels, and then you have horror movies on the Sci-Fi Channel, and then you have that horror movie I tried to make when I was 13, but I didn't end up finishing. And then right at the bottom, you have Axum, and because of that, Axum gets an F. I hope you enjoyed my review of Axum. The whole movie is actually on YouTube, so if you feel compelled to put yourself through that, I'll leave a link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell notification so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And shout out to Sharks and Gal Gadot. Thanks for watching.